Now, straight up top of the hour, 49 degrees, the 28th day of November of 2022. And we have our guest on, Miss Loretta Blue. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. I mean, I haven't known this lady probably not even a month yet. Not even a month, but she left such a lasting impression that I told her I need her on the show. And then we were talking about her singing around the world. And we did come up with one conclusion because I asked her, do they really love singers from the United States? And she said, yes, they do. They love us over here because I noticed that a lot of R&B artists are always singing overseas. And here's one right here that could vouch for the reason why they do it. Well, good morning, young lady.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. So when I met you, you were with Billy Shepherd on a Wednesday night. And I went up to her right away, started talking. I'm not shy. So I went up to her right away and was talking to her. And we hit a couple of subjects and everything, but it was good. She's very down to earth, very humble, but she could sing. That's all I can say. She could sing. So tell us about yourself first. How do you start off in singing?
I started off by playing the piano at church. I was placed in music because in the third grade, they discovered I had an ulcer. It was from internalizing and not being able to communicate. Me being the youngest of 6 children, my parents could afford to send me to music school. So they sent me to piano classes, private study, and that was my therapy. That was the best thing that could have ever happened. I started playing piano, never tried to sing. My mother was the choir director at church, African Methodist Episcopal Church in Roswell, New Mexico, Area 51.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I grew up, every time the doors opened, we were there. And I started playing for the church as well. And my mother would direct the choir. Eventually, everyone had left the church and I was getting ready to go to school, to college. I had acquired about 15 scholarships in piano. One of them was to Juilliard. There were some phenomenal places and I'm like, really, Lord? I had no clue, but that was what I let my frustration and my everything was just poured into music. So I ended up going to the college everyone in my family went to because I didn't want to be a financial hardship to my parents. I was also a daddy's girl and I did not want to be away from my father.
Okay.
Eastern New Mexico University in Portales, New Mexico. It's the peanut capital of the world, by the way. And I studied music there. I also had a dual major to study in business. After about 2 years of it, they started cutting funding on the scholarships and they were going to let me go. Well, failure is not an option in my family. I didn't even tell my parents. So I went and got a job. I was going to try to pay for it. But they told us that they had openings for vocal scholarships, vocal performance. So I sat down at the piano. I signed up, sat down at the piano and played If I Can Help Somebody. I had never really sang, but it came out. I'm like, no, I could do that. And they were floored and really surprised. Then they asked me to do some Barbra Streisand, different things. And I knew all these songs because in my household, my dad also worked at a music store. He was a piano tuner. And they sold jukeboxes and sold all kinds of records and whatnot. So we just grew up listening to all genres of music, everything you can imagine. By the way, my name is Loretta Lynn. So you could tell I was named after a country artist.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, they gave me the rest of the money I needed and a job at the college to get me through the rest of my education. I met my husband there and we moved to Alaska and that's where I started. I think everything is like predestined in my life. It didn't just happen. It was just in the path. And Went to Alaska. We were stationed at Elmendorf Air Force Base. And I went to the gospel chapel service. I met a lady by the name of Delilah Williams there. She blew my socks off. I never heard anybody sing like that. She was all of 4 foot tall, I think, but her voice was permeating. It just touched my soul. And I knew I wanted to sing gospel music. She taught me a lot. We were singing at Shiloh Baptist Church in Anchorage, Alaska. And the governor was there. Who knew? I didn't know who the governor was. And he heard me sing. He heard Delilah sing. He invited us to become a part of Alaska Performing Artists for Peace. Oh, we didn't believe him. So we gave him our information. He said, a woman by the name of Dixie Belcher is going to contact you. Went on about my way and went back to my GS job at Elmendorf. And about a week and a half later, I got a packet wanting me to get my passport together and get that together. And they explained in that packet that we were going to be going to Russia. And we were going to be there for about a month and a half, performing with a group of dancers, theatrical persons, poets. We were 5 singers they put together, 5 gospel singers. And we opened every show. And some of the audiences in Russia, you might have 1 million people almost in this huge field, just waves. And it was mind-blowing. But the language barrier wasn't really a problem. Some people would just come up to you crying after they heard the gospel music. And they would have it communicated to us that we could feel your love and we could feel your passion, and they would just want more. And we just kept singing. While we were there, we wrote a play together. And we traveled all over the US, all over Russia, Siberia, the Aleutian Islands, Kadena, at Shemya, Galena, and King Salmon, the remote stations up at the top of the world. We did USO tours and got to meet so many wonderful servicemen serving our country. And I knew I wanted to continue working for the federal government. They liked me and they let me go do my little jaunts and come back to my job. So that was a good thing. So that was the beginning of it. That was when I started really knowing how to use my body to sing and use every fiber of your body to give the feeling. Because I feel like singing and all of the arts don't belong to us. They're loaned to us for a purpose. And we should share them to help others feel like we feel, to make them feel better, to make them feel good, to give them some peace, give them some therapy. That's music. It's all of that to me. It's everything. If I can express it in words, I could say it in a song. That's what I try to do.
So all over the place. And so now you're here in San Antonio, Texas. What brought you to San Antonio, Texas?
After Alaska, Siberia, Finland, Russia, I said, Korea. I did Hawaii and about 30 other states in the US, I can't remember. But what brought me to Texas is after 20 years of marriage and my parents getting extremely ill. My father's had Alzheimer's at the time. My father was a professional boxer and he got Alzheimer's and dementia. I know it's time to go home because I had 2 daughters by then. They were becoming of school age and I needed my family around me. My marriage wasn't as good as it should have been, so we decided to divorce at 20 years. And I moved back to New Mexico. My sisters were still alive at that time, but I couldn't make the money I needed to make and didn't have enough to keep me busy vocally, opportunities. So my brother is an educator here and he's also coach. He was a coach 38 years here at Breckenridge High School, Coach Hall, Willie Hall. And he told me to come here. And my sister, who was FBI agent for 35 years, was retiring from Washington in the FBI. She was coming. So we both decided to come to San Antonio. So with all these military bases, I have to know somebody because the military world is very small. So I got here, immediately went and applied for jobs as GS, got hired at 2 weeks. I was on the job. I went into the officers club. I think it was Brooks or something. I can't remember. One of the clubs, and asked them if they needed a karaoke person or entertainment person at night. He said, sure. Didn't even think about it. Didn't ask me nothing. He said, you want to do a karaoke show? We call it karaoke in Japan. I still can't say it like they say it in America. So, but they gave me a show every Thursday night. Through that, I met so many musicians, the West Side Sound, Spot Burnett, Sauce Gonzalez, Freddie Fender. Goodness, I can't think of all the artists that came through, and they loved the way I sing. So I'm like, okay, more opportunities. At that time, I was learning how to sing all the genres I heard growing up and start singing R&B, torch songs. I love Etta James, Nancy Wilson, Eartha Kitt, all those wonderful old songs. They were interesting characters and they had really beautiful music. So I started singing those type of songs and I started singing the blues. Thus, they labeled me Loretta Blue here because I sang with all the blues bands around this town and on 6th Street. And I went to New Orleans and sang at, is it Billy Blues? Billy Blues Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, and found out the group I was singing with, they were going on Wheel of Fortune the next day. Yeah, they were the house band for Wheel of Fortune. So we just had a great time, and I see them on TV. Then I was with those guys last night. It was so cool. But I met a lot of people in New Orleans as well. And it just goes on and on. But my brother brought me here. San Antonio has afforded more opportunity to travel. I've got to go so many places and open for so many acts here in San Antonio. I also got to do private parties for the Bushes. So many political venues as well. It just opened doors. I got to do some people, I don't want to say their names, but
Okay.
Yanni or different people like that. I got to do events like that. It also opened up my eyes to racism in a lot of ways because I hadn't experienced it so much. But being in these political venues and different things, you get all kinds of people. They were kind enough, but there was a definite sense of differentism, of indifference. They loved your talents, but everyone wasn't treated 100% the same. And I became aware of that. And it made me want to study more. It made me interested in people of every walk of life because it seemed like that's what was happening in my life anyway. So I have to learn how to get along, how to communicate with. Don't accept everything about me, but you will have a positive impression when you leave. I don't let the negativity bother me. And with that, I met Buckner Fanning. He's a pastor that's passed on now, but him and his wife, Martha Fanning, used to come and hear me sing at a restaurant that used to have music, live music for years and years. Everybody played there. Maya Angelou even went to eat dinner there when she came to town. And I was there for 14 years singing. The Buckner Fanning schools, Mission Spring schools, they have a church that they started from Trinity. They opened up another church there. And they invited me to come and to sing. And that was the first opportunity I got to go to church in San Antonio because I'd been traveling so much. Well, I went and I'm still there. Now I'm the choir director of the 10 o'clock services. They've never really had a woman choir director that I'm aware of until this year. And now there's 2 of us. And it's a wonderful learning opportunity. And we have, the reason I go to that church and love singing there is they have a tremendous outreach mission. They have so many churches in the US that they help. They have churches that they help build in Mexico, Japan, Korea. They go do outreach ministry in 11 different countries.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think if you're keeping your ministry within your own walls, it's really kind of in vain, you know. I think it's important for us to share the gifts and love that we have. And I'm on the outreach ministry to go to Africa. And I met so many wonderful, talented, immensely brilliant people there. The children are great. I was at the schools there teaching the music with them. And they asked me to come back this summer. And we're going to do a CD with the school. Yeah, it's going to be, I hope this summer. But I'm excited about that.
Now, you're a choir director. Somebody just chimed in and said, can you sing a little gospel music?
I'm gonna take a drink of water. I'm gonna do a little.
Okay.
Let's see if it comes out right.
Were we expecting a guest to come in today? That you know somebody chimed in?
No, my brother was, I wasn't sure, but I could speak on his behalf because
It's a Kevin Williams.
Oh, hi, Kevin.
He wants to chime in on the you want me to chime him in?
That's fine.
Okay, let me go ahead and chime him in. All right.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I love surprises. Were you expecting this surprise?
We met at Big Blacks in Government. We met at our training and this year. It's a fabulous thing to go do as well.
Okay. So while he's chiming in, like somebody said, please, they want you to sing.
I'm gonna sing just a smidgen of it.
Okay, just a little, just a couple bars.
Okay. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody he is traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Then my living not be in vain. Then my living shall not be in vain. If I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. Sorry, I was singing like 10 hours yesterday.
Yeah, I know your voice. That was wonderful. That was beautiful. Loved it.
I should have asked you to play one of my recordings. That'd have been better.
I was, you know already we don't talk behind the scenes that I would like to get some of your music and all that stuff. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna meet up somewhere down the line. We're gonna we already talked about that. I ain't let everybody know all our business.
Okay.
No, that's between me and you.
Okay.
Okay. So now when I first heard you sing over there at Horizon and More, and I spoke to you, did I call you yesterday?
You did call me yesterday, but we spoke that Thursday.
Yes. And I really want to find out where you singing in San Antonio, because to me, you probably one of the best kept secret here in San Antonio. If nobody had ever heard you, I mean, they really need to get out and get out and listen. We got so many stuff going on in San Antonio. We got a lot of bands going on.
We do.
There's a lot of things going on. But the problem with that is nobody knows what's going on, if that makes any sense. They always wait till the couple of days. Well, I didn't know she was singing there. Well, I didn't know it was there. Well, if you're on this show, if you're on WSN radio, we'll let you know where everybody's at every week. We have a show. We have a show on Tuesday mornings. What's happening with Sharon? She runs down everything that's going on in San Antonio for that week. So there's no excuse about that. Then we got Vincent D. Webb. We have KROV. They are also saying what's going on. So between these three platforms, if you don't know what's going on, then you got your head up under a rock. So, but so you be going to Africa, and how long you gonna be over in Africa?
About a month.
Okay, and then you're gonna come back here to San Antonio and do your new CD that I'm gonna write for you, right?
Sure.
So when are you gonna do a solo CD?
I think that's something that's going to come in the near future. I really do. I really just start singing again a lot, the jazz and the R&B. I was with a group called Second Nature for many, many years. I was under Ken Jones was a bass player, Daryl Brogdon keyboard. Fatty was our drummer. Now he plays for some huge gospel band in Atlanta. There's Alan McAfee and Percy Lewis. They're both not with us anymore. Those were my two co-singers. There were three out front. But that CD I sent you, they used to play on 98, 101.9 all the time.
Yeah.
Nicolelas. They used to play that often, but we're coming back together and doing our first gig. And I don't know, many, many years. This Saturday. No, this Friday at Fort Sam Golf Club. It's a private party.
Okay.
They're talking about going to Cabo. I'm not sure when. The details of that, but I'm ready to go. I do sing with Groove Factor Band. I sing with Billy Ray on occasion. Most of the gigs I do are private, but I do sing at Papados when they have music. I am at both locations on 1604 and 410.
Okay.
I sing at the Alamo Brew Company, and I sing at some of the private social clubs, like the Dominion or something like that.
Well, with your permission, I did record you and Billy Ray.
Okay.
And I am in the process of editing that, editing everything. So I'm gonna start playing that on the station, some of the songs you did. I wanted to choose a Saturday morning at 11 o'clock to play the bands that I record and feature them. And if I have everything edited by this Saturday, I'll have you and Billy Ray on at 11 o'clock Saturday morning. And it won't be all 3 hours. I'll break it down and make it an hour show. But I will probably call you later on this week just to get some bites. The song going to play, so you could say the reason why you sung the song. It's a little tidbit that you could say about it and all that, because I want people to hear you live. And I tell you what, it was beautiful. For what I heard, I started listening to. I said, yes, I could do something with this. I could edit this out and edit everything. And y'all sung for 3 hours.
It was so much fun. It's different when you sing live in front of people. I turn into a different person.
Yeah.
It's different when I'm singing here, but when I have people there. And they were so reactive. It was so much fun.
Oh, well, and we had a full house that night too.
Yeah, it
And
was-
I looked around, it was nice. Everybody was, oh man, they applauded you every time. And I know you took your break. They was over there talking to you. And like I said, when you told me about overseas and how they flock to the R&B singers compared to over here. Now, United States, don't get upset with me, but y'all got a tendency of not showing up when good talent shows up. You know, I'm just telling like it is. Overseas, they in drove over there listening to Black artists. And maybe we got so complacent over here that, oh, I can see them anytime. And maybe
we
it's
have so
something-
much.
Yeah.
We have so much. Yeah.
Yeah. So but you said a point about Eartha Kitt and singing those old songs.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with those songs because my dad used to play those all the time, along with jazz and everything. When you mentioned that,
Mhm.
that remind me of, we called that back in the days cleanup music.
There you go.
Now,
Floors. We'd skate on those wood floors.
yeah, it was cleanup music. All right, you hear that song in the morning, you know you had to get out of bed and go clean up. Then
Ain't
after
it
that,
funny? That song, ain't it funny?
yes.
Yeah,
And then after that, after everything was done, he would put on jazz.
that's it.
So I picked up those by listening to what my dad played all the time. And you know, I mean, I wouldn't think of right now there'd be that much of an influence on me with this radio station and playing. And somebody asked me the other day, will I be extending the jazz show on Saturday? I said, yes, I am. I am going.
Awesome.
It's only 2 hours, but I'm gonna extend it to 4 hours come the first of the year. So we're doing some changes. We're listening to people out there and what they want to hear. And so that's what we're going to do. And I want to go back and play some Eartha Kitt. And you know, back in the days, that's kind of jazz and blues, if you want to look at it put together.
She's very unique. And
Yeah.
I can't think of all of there's so many strong women that had such a,
Etta James.
yeah.
Yeah.
Etta James, Odetta even.
Yeah.
All those old, just Nina Simone. Oh, yeah. I love Jill Scott.
Yeah.
It goes all over the place, but if it speaks to you, I know.
But when you were singing, was it harder for a Black woman to break out and singing? And I know I heard Etta James' story one time on how that they was abusive to her, you know, and do you see that yourself when you get out there being a Black woman out there singing? Do you see that towards
I have been
yourself?
fortunate to not see it. So I felt it, but I have not seen it. I've been very fortunate to have the opportunities, have the doors open, even at always, you know, there's always going to be somebody, but
Yeah.
they've been very subtle. And I'm thankful for that, you know.
The other question is, a lot of Black artists, mainly female, they came out of gospel to sing their jazz and R&B. And I remember at one time, you didn't do that. I mean, it was taboo. You did not go out and sing R&B after singing in the choir all those years. You did not do that. And now it's accepted now because a lot of them start off singing in the choir. But face it, that's where they get the beginning at anyways, in the choir going to church.
That's where you learn your passion. You can't just sing without feeling. If you're singing without feeling, and you can tell, especially a Black audience, they know
Yeah.
not feeling it. So you gotta feel what you say. And that came from church, you know, it came from understanding what you were trying to vocalize, what you were trying to, the message you were trying to convey. Because singing is just another message you're conveying, you're just relating it and sharing it. And when they know you feel the way that, they'll give you that reaction back. So that's all it is. It is church. It's just in a different building. It is church.
This is, I would say, somebody gonna probably throw a rock at me, but I'm gonna say it. Um, to me, a true R&B singer can get up and pick up the mic and sing a cappella without no music.
Should be able to, because no matter what, you got to do your show. And we've had that happen. I mean, I've had it happen where the mic quit working and I got to go belt it out. And you go out there in the audience and you do whatever, and then you come back and maybe it's working.
Yeah.
Kind of like what happened. Well, I don't have much of a voice right now. It's because that kind of thing happened this weekend. So, but that's okay. You go with the flow. You do what's necessary.
Yeah. So there was a saying back in the days that some groups can perform live and some groups or singers only good in the studio.
I
You know
think
what I mean?
more today.
But studio today?
More of what happens today. They have so many technologies advanced so much. They have the auto tune. They can splice and cut and put together so neat now. You never know they messed up and took a take 25 times on something. But back in the day, you had to sing it.
I know you talk about, remember the shows back in the day that were live on TV, that was live. And a lot of people didn't know that the artist or the singer messed up because they just kept on going. It was an even flow.
My mom told me, if you mess up, make it good and don't stop. Just make them believe you did that.
I meant to do that.
Yeah, and I did it. So what? Let's keep going. Because
it's only one other person know you messed up. That's you, and maybe the band members may know. But that's what you do. You just keep on going. You don't stop. You know, because that's how it was back in the days. Now, I was watching the band about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They started the song off, and they felt they messed up, and they started over again.
That's 2 mistakes.
Yeah. You just keep on going.
That's what they taught us in school. Make one mistake, fine, keep moving. Start again, it's 2 mistakes. So.
Yeah. Like it was a song years ago by Minnie Riperton, Lovers and Friends.
Yeah.
When they did it again, he said again, 1, 2, 3. When I first heard that song, I thought they messed up, but that's how they did it. That's how they recorded.
That was part of the song.
That was part of the song. And that, I thought that was a huge hit. It didn't really hit like it wanted to, but I thought it was a good song back in the days.
She was phenomenal. You say, I think of Patty Austin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those. Great stuff.
Yeah, and Minnie had that voice that she could reach that
stratosphere.
Yes, and the one that came maybe closer to her was the late Whitney Houston, because she could hit a note too.
Yeah, you know, I used to be able to sing all those notes, but COVID kind of did some things to me. But I'm working on getting it back, and it's all good. You just gotta apply they set the standard. You know, Whitney Houston, Minnie Riperton, Nancy Wilson, all those beautiful singers, they set a standard, and you can develop your own. I know certain things come out when you're performing, and it's some of those old artists that put that in you, what comes out. You know, you remember those things.
What I remember, I can't remember, it was Etta James or somebody was singing and she jumped up and started scatting. You know, scat.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, nobody knows. Yeah, nobody know about that. But they get up there and I thought they were making up words, but that was really what they were doing.
It's a genre and you can actually learn, but it's a natural kind of thing with the vowels and different things. I've had to do it a few times, and at first it was like, it is a foreign language. But you start listening to them and you just start learning what your rhythm is. It is a rhythm, a language of your own.
And that came out as a part of jazz. I remember that. It came out as jazz. And also was taboo, jazz artists, saxophone, guitar, they were known not to sing because they were known for instrumentals.
No.
And I remember when oh, what's his name? Oh, it's not coming to me. Benson.
George Vincent. Oh
George
yeah.
Benson. When he was all instrumental when he came out and sung the songs, and I said, he could sing?
He's wonderful.
Yeah. So the taboo was out there that mainly jazz artists just played the instruments. So you went there to hear him just play instrumentals. And then all of a sudden they started singing and opened up a whole new world for jazz.
It's wonderful. I love everything you said. It's just gospel. It's truth. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be not allowed to sing. I think it's wonderful. Drummers are singing now. I'm like,
oh yeah. Hey, how was that? They playing that drum 100 miles an hour and up there
I
singing.
don't know. It's amazing to me. I would have to stop. Something's got to stop.
Yeah. So what do you do where your voice is right now? What do you, a lot of people say they have limited honey or stuff like that when your voice get hoarse. What do you do to not really fix a problem, but alleviate the symptoms?
I have to rest. I have to drink a lot of water. I have to rest because we start singing. I have to sing tonight at a rehearsal, but I'm not going to sing hard. I need vocal rest. My body needs to rest. This weekend was insane. I'll just say it started Thursday and I must have sang every day. And you show up and you do your job and you do it well because contract to fulfill and that's your reputation. So we sang from Thursday until last night at about 7:30. Every funerals, gigs, church, whatever was necessary, it all happened. So,
so when you do a contract, and let's say they contract you for singing for 3 months at a certain place, in that contract, do you put down the days so you don't extend your voice, I should say? Where you put down
everything.
I need to be rested on this day, I need at least 2 days rest for the next show. And
I'll get the exact day they want me there, you know, and the exact hours, even down to the break. Even Mother Nature, she's the only reason I won't get paid. If something happens, a tornado or a flood,
yeah,
you know, but you know, things happen. Everything is in that contract. What I wear sometimes. I've had women that have hired me that want me to wear turtlenecks. They don't want anyone to be noticed in the room but them. So, you know,
wow.
Yeah, it's happened that way. Wear your hair in a bun and wear a turtleneck. So, yeah, everything's in that contract. Down to eat even sometimes.
Have you turned down any contracts for any stipulation in there you didn't agree upon?
I can recall one time we didn't go because of the race factor. We didn't take the job. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be somewhere where you're not really well. Just like you said earlier, you knew it was in the air. They didn't say it, but you knew it. And a lot of people don't understand how us as Blacks, we know when we walk into a place that we're not welcome. The vibes are just there, and you know, nobody can never understand that. You know, there's some places that I went and DJ'd at that somebody hired me, and I go in there and I see around the room, I said, this ain't not for me. But I go in there anyway and do my job. And I never packed so fast my whole life to get out of there. I'm gone. Bye. You know, but it's a factor right there. It happens, you know, and it's not changing anytime soon.
No, some people are just, you know, that's the way they're raised and that's their thoughts. And it happens on both sides of the fence. It happens in our, you know, social areas as Black Americans. We don't want some people around us either sometimes, and we need to be. It happens on both sides, but you can definitely feel the R. They don't have to say a thing.
Yeah, that's so true. Ooh, boy, 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 boy. All
Thank
right.
goodness it hasn't happened often. So,
Yes, that's good. That's good. Okay, let's go upbeat road now.
okay.
We don't say, but that's true what we were saying, because if you're an artist or in the entertainment industry, you'll see things like that from time to time. So what's going on with Loretta going forward? What is she? What does you have? What do you have up your sleeve that you're gonna come out with?
I want to develop my voice back to what it was pre-COVID. I want to be able to travel more and share my love of music and whatever talent God lends me and possesses me with and leads me to. I do believe I'm going to be recording. I know in Africa, but I believe I'm going to be recording here. I know I'm going to be doing something at my church here. They've got a brand new group of musicians and they've been talking about doing recording. The gentleman that's our head musician's from Nashville and he records for a living. And he's like, we're going to do some recordings. I know that's coming. I just look forward to walking through open doors. The doors are always open. Opportunities always present themselves if you're open and willing to share what you, and if it's of a good thing, good comes back to you if you put it out in the atmosphere. And that's pretty much what has happened all the time.
Ooh. I'm looking at some of these comments over here. Katrina Weber says she been listening to your songs for years.
Oh,
And
hi, Katrina.
she said, love you, Loretta.
Love you, Katrina.
And then this is from Sandra right here. She said, what do it means when they say you're singing out of your throat versus your diaphragm?
Okay, there's 3 different areas that you sing from. The diaphragm is what I call it my stomach, because that's what my mama taught me. She told me to sing from the bottom of my feet, okay? Breathe it up through the ground and get it out, because I had a tiny squeaky voice. Still have a tiny squeaky voice, but that's your chest voice, that diaphragm thing. You have that diaphragm and then you have the mid-range, which is the chest. And that's kind of easy for everybody to sing out of. So you have the diaphragm, the chest, and then you have the nasal. With all 3, you have to open your throat like you have a golf ball in it. And you got to let that air come through. It's just got to fill it up. And really, it's like you're opening your soul. When I do it, I can feel my whole body just fills with breath. And that's an exercise. You can do it by yoga, meditating as well. Sometimes before I sing, like tonight, I will sit down and meditate for about an hour to relax my body so I can get where I need to get. Because breathing is 100%. So you got your nasal, your throat, your chest here, and you got the diaphragm. All 3 have to work in conjunction. And depending on if you're a soprano, alto, a tenor, whatever your vocal range might be, you'll know of your break points. So you have a low you can go to, and you have a high you can go to, depending on the 8 octaves on the piano. So you figure out what your vocal range is, and you go from there. But if she wants to know more, that's really what it's all about. Finding out where your breaks are, where you break when you switch from chest to nasal, the soprano. You'll break. My break is like C above middle C. I know I've got to switch over and put more energy in my song. And I actually, if you kind of tilt your head down, your throat opens and you can get more air through. So there's all kinds of tricks you learn. No matter how bad you feel, you can get something out.
Yeah.
And with the chest, that's the easy one. I mean, you could belt that out all day if you know how to breathe.
Yeah. Now, you said something about piano. I got to bring this up because I watched a document. I'm always watching documentaries. It was one how most of the songs back in slavery days and even as late as the 40s and 50s, the black key, most of them utilized the black key. You want to go into details about the black keys?
I haven't looked at it so much, but it's something that I identify when I start singing gospel. But I think it is a way for African-American folks or Black people to show our powers on that piano. Because those flats, the black keys or flats, are harder to play. And we love playing in difficult keys in gospels. The more black keys, the better. Because other races have a difficult time playing that music.
Mhm.
Rhythmic. Then you got all these flats all over the place, or 1,000 sharps, whatever the case might be. And it's difficult to do. They got to wrap their head around it. And it's something, a talent that has to be developed. Whereas we're raised in the gospel church, we're raised in that music. So you cut your teeth on that.
Yeah.
Then you do without thinking. Mm-mm. It's frustrating to some musicians that do it with such ease, but it's something that we are raised doing.
Yes, because I remember my sister had piano lessons, and I used to remember what's one we was first taught how to play the boogie woogie on the piano
Oh yeah.
with the black keys. I
Yep.
remember that was an introduction to anybody. If you could play that, you were good back in the days, because that was something you had to remember where the keys were at, and it was those black keys that gave that to it, you know?
Yeah. That bounce.
Yes, exactly.
Just thirds, fourths, fifths.
And,
It's just beautiful stuff. My mom, she called Peggy's Boogie Woogie. That was my mom.
and what so you know what I'm talking about, boogie woogie back in the
Yeah.
day. Yeah. So what advice would you have for young singers coming up? Somebody who wants to be a singer, let's say that's 8, 9 years old, and they've been singing, but they want to do more. What would be your advice to them what to do?
Learn everything you can. Practice. Find out your passion. What's your passion in the music? What do you want to present? How do you want to be presented? What do you want you to look like? Do you want to be, people get an idea of who you are just by looking at you. Either you can give an aura of love and kindness, or you can give a different kind of aura. But find out what your passion is. Study all the artists that make you feel like you want to do more, that feed your soul, that feed your gift. Just nourish yourself all the time. Even when you get tired, find, even if it's literature, I love art. I go to museums and just walk. I love history. That's part of music. If you understand history and why a song was presented at that time and in that era, the Black Keys, that find out things that give you more power and more purpose when you do sing. You'll find out sometimes you might be tired, but that purpose and that power gives you the motivation and the strength, and it feels good, and you just want to do it,
Yeah. Wow. It was one other thing I was getting ready to ask you. What was it? Oh, somebody just asked a question about how do you voice train?
Vocal training, and I used to hate it. Like, just kind of like a pianist. They practice theory a lot. I find, I see you, Kevin. I find I have to do my warm-ups now, and I do them gently, which I didn't warm up this morning. And I'll do scales. I'll do thirds, which are the different elements of a chord structure. And I'll try to go from my low range all the way to my high. I'll just sit there and hold my breath and let it escape slowly to build up my lung capacity. I do that even when I talk. Sometimes I'm practicing my breathing.
Yeah.
We do it all the time, but breathing and knowing, hearing the chords, because like if I play with Billy Ray or something, I don't know what I'm going to sing, but I better be ready to go wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So you got to be ready to know that chord structure in your head. Okay, let me go, and have fun with it. And don't do anything with fear, because once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah. You're right.
So
You talking about what's out there. I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about the shift in music. And I say I understand decade of music, but I said the most dramatic shift in music was the 60s going into the 70s. And somebody asked, why is that? I said, well, you had the Motown that really came in the beam right there. They were right there. Then you had the R&B coming up in the late 60s. Then you had funk coming in, and then you had disco. All this took place in the 60s and 70s. That, to me, that was a dramatic shift in music on what we're going to hear. Then came the 80s. I'm not talking about the 80s. I thought they were crazy in the 80s coming up with stuff. But to me, the shift there was the 60s and 70s on groups who were going to stay and who was not going to stay. And hate to say, but I hate saying it, but some of the groups are gone now, but the music is always with us. So when that shift came, then we went to funk. Now that just went crazy. And then every once in a while, they would slip up with a cuss word, which they bleeped right away. That's how it was. And I tell everybody, back in the days when they wrote music back then, they wrote it from the heart.
very true. If you think about what you just shared,
Yeah.
60s and 70s, one thing, it's my history problem. I love history. Think about what was happening in history.
Yes.
That made us bold to control. That's what you do. You flow with that, and it makes you bold. It makes you step out. We had to have a voice, and we did it through our music. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And in the 80s, confusion, total confusion, and different drugs and different things start coming in. So another shift, and we didn't like it. Very uncomfortable. Think about now, people are going back and recapturing the old.
Yeah.
Because we want to feel good again. And they're just kind of refashioning it to feel good now. I do think even the classics, even in the gospel words, they're going back and getting great is thy faithfulness, holy, holy, holy. They're doing all these old songs. They're on the top 20 charts again.
Mm-hmm.
But history has a direct reflection on music. Whatever we're feeling, it comes through. Right now, our music's kind of simple. For us, it's simple. We don't want to hear it because there's too much confusion going on.
Yeah.
So simple music's presented.
Just like you said, I will bring up, it was one, was Edmund Hawkins?
Love him,
Oh,
yes.
Oh Happy Days, when that came out. That was the first gospel song that really hit the R&B charts.
Yes, we did that yesterday.
And that song has been done over and over and over,
right.
but it is a classic. Mahalia Jackson. I mean,
Yes.
all those songs was classics back then, and
Yes.
they're doing it over now.
Because we're going back to our roots, and music can only be done over and over again. I think Stevie Wonder probably wrote every beautiful song in the world. So it's been done. So we can rearrange the chord structure and speed the tempo up or put it to a different rhythmic something. But it's familiar, and it really makes you feel good. Familiarity, and that's something artists should remember. Put some familiarity in your your set, because
Yes.
people come, they want to feel good.
Yeah. I'm seeing, I didn't say it, but I told you when I first met you who you look like.
Oh,
Somebody else just mentioned that right now.
that's very sweet. I love that.
I said the same thing, Sandra. I did say Diana Ross. I said the same thing.
So sweet.
So, in closing, what would you like to tell everybody in closing?
In closing, first, I'd like to thank you, Ronald, for allowing this platform to happen and allowing me the opportunity to be here. And I'm going to do better at getting the word out when I am performing. I pray that everyone does come out and that everyone keeps supporting live music, keep supporting our artists, keep live music going strong, because
Yes.
it is very precious. We don't want to lose that. Just keep it, support it. I'm thankful for every opportunity to sing. I'm thankful to have met some of you wonderful folks that are out there. I tell you, it's a joy and a pleasure to be given the opportunity to sing. And I'm going to keep on singing until I'm not here to do it anymore. I'm just thankful for that opportunity.
If you sing anywhere, make sure you slide me a backstage pass, okay?
I promise.
Here I am asking, but anyway. But we appreciate you. Come on, Loretta. I'm gonna see you more, and you let me know when you're gonna be somewhere, and to get the word out, we will get the word out, and we'll have you back on again. You know, we got to keep this moving.
Will do. And thank you again. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right,
Okay.
thank you, Loretta. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.